Today, as you already know, that we will study about the transport of plants, which is there in ICSE syllabus of class 8th. So let us begin. And before that, let us find out what Swiflearn is, right? So as you already know by now, that Swiflearn is the India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10. Right. So over here, what are the advantages do we get? First of all the classes over here are 100% live and interactive classes. So, whatever doubt or confusion you have regarding the topic, you can ask in the class only, and the teacher will explain everything in the class, right? Secondly, we give personalized attention to each and every students of our batches because our batches consist of maximum 6 students, not more than that. So, these 6 students will be like our own students, and definitely the teacher will keep an eye on the student how they are doing the homework, how they are proceeding in the classwork also, and the student can ask any sort of doubt in the classes, right? Thirdly, we have a very good dedicated academic mentor team who continuously keep a track on the students' progress. So, how you are doing the homework, how you are doing the question answer, which topic you are already prepared, which topic you need more attention, everything is tracked by the academic mentor, and according to you, you will get the feedback. Definitely it will help you to improve yourself, right? And fourthly, which is very important, that we cover the syllabus as per your school examination schedule. So it can happen that you have some topics which are going on in your schools, but we have not done it yet, so you can tell us that we can do those topics so that it will be totally prepared for your examination, and then we will move on to the rest of the topics. So this type of custom request we generally handle. So these are the basic features of Swiflearn, and let us now see what are our key features. So first of all, we maintain the detailed progress report of each and every student, where everything will be recorded, like what is your understanding capacity, how you are doing the homework, in which topic you are already prepared, which topic you need more attention, how you are attending the classes, everything is okay or not, and according to that you will get the progress report, and there will be some in a PTM in the different intervals, so that your parents will also come to know where you are lagging, and we will give you the advice how to improve yourself so that you will get the 100% in the school examination as well as the board examination, right? Secondly, we have the Swiflearn academic test series, in short, which we call as the SATs. That happens in every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., where you can perform and you will be able to understand, like, um, what is your rank all over India as well as all over the world. The students can attend this one, right? Thirdly, you can practice unlimited practice test after completing each and every topic of all the subjects. So there will be the practice test. So after completing one of the topic, just go to the practice test and do all the question answers, right? It will help you to solve different types of question answer, both the objectives as well as the subjective. So in case of the objective questions, you will get the true false, filling the blanks, MCQs, one word, match the column, and so on, as well as you can solve the subjective answers, which are also very important, and you have to practice before going to the school exam, right? So we also have the subjective test for your school exam, so it will help you to write down the answer according to how many marks it is having. Hi Snehalata, how are you? Okay, and it will help you to get the full marks. So we have a very dedicated teacher team who will tell you and give you the tips how to write down the answer, where to include any sort of diagram and all, and accordingly you can write down the answer, practice the diagram of biology. Definitely you can you will be able to understand where to include the different chemical equations, where to include the different graphs, and accordingly you can prepare yourself for your school examination, and you will never miss any of the marks, right? Hi Sailendra, good afternoon beta. So these are our key features. So to experience all these key features, what you have to do, you have to book a free trial class. So now the enrollment and admission is going on for the new session. As you already know, the new session has been like begun, and we will do the trial classes. So please book a free trial class which is totally free of cost, and experience all these things. So as you already have subscribed our channel, I know that, so those who have not subscribed it yet, please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon, so that you don't have to just search it again and again, that what class is coming, what class is there of Swiflearn, so that you will get the update of all the upcoming sessions, right? So this is all about Swiflearn, and please stay with Swiflearn and learn with Swiflearn. And please like, comment, and share with your friends and family members so that they can also come to know about Swiflearn and they can get all these advantages. Right? So let us now begin with the Hi, yes, Nehalata. Yes, we have the tests also. The mock tests are also there. The monthly tests are also there, where you will be able to give the test so that you can understand what are the concepts you are totally prepared and what are the concepts are you are lagging. Right. So this will help you to improve also. Okay, understood? Chalo. So let us now start with the transport in plants. I have already said that transport in plants is there in class 8th syllabus of ICSE board. So this is a very first chapter as well as a very important chapter. This is the basic actually I would like to say that you have already got an idea in previous class like in class 7 you have already studied about the cell and tissue, right? So here you will get more idea that what is the specific function of each of the tissues of the plant, right? So over here we will study about how the transportation takes place within the plants, right? So these are actually happening with the help of a specialized type of tissue which is present within the plants, not in our body. Those are the conducting tissues or transporting tissues. So first we will come to know what do you mean by the transport, or why it is necessary, how does it happen in the different types of plants in case of the small plant as well as in case of the tall trees also. And then we will move on to the different specialized types of tissues which help the plant to transport all the water, minerals, and the food materials to all the different parts of the body. Okay, understood. So today our session's objectives are, first of all, we will study about the conducting tissues or transporting tissues. Then we will study about the transportation in plants and the different parts which are involved with this transportation, right? Through which part actually transportation takes place and why does it happen? What is the need for this transportation? Fine. Then we will study about the xylem and its parts and also the different functions of all the different parts of the xylem. Fine. Then we will study one experiment which will help to prove that xylem is the only tissue which help in the conduction of water and minerals from the root to the leaves. So we will prove that by doing one experiment. Fine. Then we will study about the phloem and all the different parts of the phloem, all the different types of the phloem and their functions, their individual functions along with their structure. I'll show you the pictures of phloem also. Okay, what are the different types of phloem which are present and what are their individual functions? And lastly, we will study about the difference between xylem and phloem. Clear, Anna? Up to this much clear, I guess. Chalo, let's start. So, do you know how the plants actually grow and survive? Like, what are the basic needs of the plant for their survival? We have already studied about the interdependence of the plants and animals, also the interdependence of the plants, animals, along with the environment. So, what is the main factor which are most needed for like the growth and development of the plants? Now, think about how do we grow? We can grow for the growth and development as well as for the survival. We need the food, water, and air. These are the three basic needs of our survival, right? So without food, without water, or without air, we will not be able to survive. So same thing happen in case of the plants also, right? So plants also need the food, they also need the water, as well as they also need the air, right? So how do they take the food? Do they take the food from others and just engulf like whatever we do, or they can make their own food? Definitely they can make their own food, as you have already studied in the previous uh, sessions as well as the previous grades, that plants perform a specific type of function, that is the process of photosynthesis. By the process of photosynthesis, they can make their own food. So, what are the four main raw materials of the process of photosynthesis? Yes, first of all, they need the sunlight. Yes, secondly, they need the carbon dioxide, which is present in the air, and they just have to take it inside their body. Then the third one is they need the water. So from where do they need the water? They need the water, they take the water from the soil, right? So the roots go deep inside the soil. As you already know, the whole root system is present under the ground. They absorb the soil, they absorb the water, very sorry, and the different minerals from the soil, and they just conduct them to the different parts of the plant. Fine, mainly the root, mainly the leaves. And the fourth thing, that is the green colored pigment which is present in the plant, that is known as the chlorophyll. So as we do not have the green colored pigment, that is chlorophyll, that is why we cannot make our own food. But the plants have their chlorophyll, and that is why they can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis, right? So this is how the nutrition actually takes place within the plant. So they are getting the water, they are getting the carbon dioxide from the air, as well as they are making their own food. So this water, air and the food is totally salt, right? So these are the three basic needs for all the growth and development, all over growth and development of the plants also. Hi Avika. Acha, you were new. Hi beta. How are you? Okay. So this is all how the plants make their own food and utilize it, right? So there are certain exceptions also, like if you think about the insectivorous plants like the Venus flytrap or the pitcher plant, or you can see the sundew. So they can make their own food definitely, but they take the nitrogen from the insects. They just feed upon the insects and take the nitrogen, the protein part from their body, right? So this is the exception of the plant, but most of the green plants make their own food by the process of photosynthesis, right? Yeah, yes, Avika beta. So live classes are also there for class 8 CBSE. You can go through the recordings, the previous recordings are also there. Okay? Okay, chalo. So, what do the plants have? Just like we have the total digestive system, right? So, with the help of the digestive system, we starts with the mouth. We take the food and keep it in the mouth. Take it in the mouth, we chew it, then we just engulf, just swallow it. It goes through the esophagus, that is the food pipe. Then it goes through to the stomach, small intestine, and all, and then digestion, everything takes place, right? Then we have the windpipe, which with which we take the air, which is rich in oxygen. Then after taking the air, it goes through the windpipe, that is the trachea, and then goes to the lungs where the gaseous exchange takes place. Okay, so through the alveoli to the blood vessels, the oxygen will be taken, and from the blood vessel to the alveoli, carbon dioxide is removed, and when we breathe out the carbon dioxide, we release in the atmosphere. This is how all the different processes takes place within our body. So the similar type of thing also happen in case of the plant body. So the plants have the roots which actually take all the necessary substances, the water as well as the minerals from the soil, and utilize them for making the food, right? So definitely the root system, as you already know, you can see in the picture also, the root system is present under the ground and the shoot system is present above the ground. This is very clear to us, right? So what are actually present within the shoot system? Root system is very clear and very like you can say very simple. They have the main root and they have the different lateral roots. Sometimes it depends upon whether the plant is a monocotyledonous plant or a dicotyledonous plant. And yes, Avika, there will be quiz today. Yes, definitely. Okay, so they actually help to absorb the water and minerals from the soil. But what about the shoot system? They have the stem, they have the different branches, they have the nodes and internodes. Now, in the different branches, they will have the leaves, they will have the flowers. After that, after the flowers will go like dry off, they will go down, like they will dry up, and it will form the fruit. So on. These are the different things which are present in the shoot system. So over here, definitely the transportation and the various types of processes also takes place within the root system and the shoot system of the plants, which help the plants to survive properly. right? So the types of transport in plants are the two types, right? So before going to the transportation or the different things which are transported to the plants, we have to understand the word transport. What do you mean by transport? Let me find out from here only. Let me see who can give me the correct answer over here in the chat box. What do you mean by transportation, or what do you mean by transport? Does it only happen in the plants or the animals also? Just write it down in the chat box, right? Okay. So let me tell you what are the different types of things which are transported in the plants. The basic two things which are transported in plant is, one is the water and minerals, and second one is the food, right? So from where to where the water is going? Yeah, the water and minerals are absorbed by the root which are already present under the ground, and after absorption they just send it to the upward, okay, to the all different leaves of the plant, fine, and definitely to other parts wherever it is needed. Clear hai? Now coming to, yes, Avika, your question is, sometimes in plants like carrot, the main part is in the root. Yes, there are specialized type of roots which store the food. There are also the modified types of stems who can store the food. Okay, like if you think about the modified stem, it can be the potato, ginger, garlic, onion. If you think about the roots like carrot, radish, beetroot, and so on, they have the specialized function. They just store the food within the roots and the stem. Clear, Hannah, up to this much? Your doubt is clear, I guess. Yes. Very good, Sailendra. Your answer is correct. Transportation means moving one thing from one place to another. Very good. So I'll come to that one later on. Okay. So I was telling about the transportation of the water and minerals from root to all the different parts of the plant, and the second transport happen when food is already made in the leaves. Now, as you already know that where the food is made by the process of photosynthesis, in the green leaves. We are very clear about that. Why only in the green leaves? Because we already know that green leaves contain most of the chloroplast within which the chlorophyll are present, and these leaves are thus known as the kitchen of the plant. Right, and that is why the total process of photosynthesis takes place within the leaves. Clear, Hannah? Now, after the food is made, what type of food is made? Glucose. Now, glucose is already made in the leaves. Now, they have to go to all the different parts now, so that all the different parts of the plant will grow properly, right? All the growth and development, whatever is needed during the different seasons should be there, so that the survival of the plant will be good, right? So they have to transport all the food to all the different parts of the plant. Clear, Hannah? So that is why there are two types of things. One is the root and another one is the leaves. These are the two things from where the transportation takes place. So the roots are present under the soil, which just absorb the water and minerals from the soil, and it transport the water and mineral to upward towards the leaves. And the second transport system takes place from the leaves. Now, after the formation of the food will be distributed to all the different parts of the plant through the from the leaves to the different parts of the plant. Now, through what I will come to that later on. Okay, there are two specialized tissues which are present in the plants which help in this transportation system. Right? Yes. Okay. Now see the transportation in detail. So as Sailendra, you have already said that transportation is just moving one thing from one place to another. So I definitely agree with you. So let me give you another small example. Like if you want to go from Delhi to Mumbai, what are the transportation you want to choose? You can go by flight, you can go by train, you can go by car also, right? By road. So these are the different types of transportation or different types of ways or routes to which you can move from one place, that is Delhi, to Mumbai. So the similar type of thing also takes place within the living organism. We do not have the flight or like train or bus or car, anything within our body, right? So we have the specialized tissue within our body, as well as the plants also have the specialized tissue within their body, and that help the early transportation happens in plants also, where the medium is water. Okay, always remember the transportation in plant having the medium water, and there are the specialized types of tissues which help the water and mineral to move from one part to other part of the plant body. Clear, Hannah? Up to this much, I guess you have already got an idea what do you mean by transportation and how it happens within the plant, right? Now, over here, you can see the definition that the transportation is a process by which a substance is absorbed. Okay, so the substance is absorbing something. Okay, what are the different substances which are absorbed? These are, we can say, the water and the minerals. Okay, so the water and minerals are absorbed from where? From the soil. Clear hai na? Through the roots. Okay, so the roots will absorb the water and mineral from the soil. And also transportation is a process by which a substance is synthesized. So what will be synthesized? Synthesis will happen to the food. Food will be synthesized in the form of glucose. Where it will be synthesized? It will be synthesized in the green leaves, and then from the leaves it will move to all the different parts of the plant body. Up to this much clear hai na? So this transportation system helps the substances to absorb or synthesize it in one part of the plant, and then to transport them to all the other different parts of the plant body. क्लियर है सो व्हाट इज मेंट बाय ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एंड ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में क्या होता है इन केस ऑफ प्लांट जैसे वो एब्जॉर्ब करते हैं लाइक द रूट एब्जॉर्ब द वाटर एंड मिनरल्स फ्रॉम द सॉइल ताकि वो लीफ तक जा सके एंड द फूड इज सिंथेसाइज्ड विद इन द लीव्स ताकि वो लीफ से बाकी सारे प्लांट पार्ट तक जा सके right up to this much clear these are the two main things of transportation in plant. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the chat box. Now let us find out what is the role of the root in transportation. So as we already know that the plants absorb the water from the soil through their leaves, roots, right? So have you ever wondered how this water that is absorbed by the root get transferred to the leaves? So there must be some bridge system or some tissue system or some tunnel like thing you can see, or like some pipe like thing which actually help the water from the soil to go from the roots towards the leaves. है ना? तो let us see how it actually happened with the help of one example. Now, if I give you one suitcase, one bag, okay, and I will tell you to go from the ground floor to first floor just by using the staircase. So, is it easier for you to just carry your bag from the ground floor to first floor? It's easy, है ना? Okay. Now, if I give you the same bag and tell you to carry the bag from first floor to 45th floor of the building. So the building is having 45 to or more than that floor. So if I tell you to just use the staircase and go to 45th floor of the building by carrying the bag, is it easy? No, it's not easy. So we cannot use the stairs at that case, right? We need something different, a different system which will help you to leave to reach the 45th floor. That is the elevator, right? So the elevator or the lift will help you to reach the 45th floor with the bag, right? So the similar type of thing happens in case of the plants also. Some different system is followed in the short plants, where the distance between the root and the shoot and the leaves are very small, and some different system is there in case of the tall trees, where the root and the shoot and the leaves are at a very, like, more distance or far away from each other. Fine. So let us find out how it happens. So in case of the small plants, definitely the water will be absorbed by the root and reaches to the leaves via simple diffusion process. Now this diffusion is a very important word over here. Okay, so this diffusion is a very important word. You should know what do you mean by diffusion, and also you can get the question what is diffusion. Sometimes you get the definition of diffusion for 1 mark in your school exam. So what do you mean by diffusion? It is the movement of different types of molecules. It can be the solid, it can be the liquid, it can be the gaseous, any sort of molecules, when it moves from higher concentration to lower concentration. Okay, so movement of the elements from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration is known as the process of diffusion. So simply in case of the small plants, like in case of the herbs or the shrubs, so their distance is not that much more, right? So whenever they are getting the water and minerals from the soil, so see, in case of just a very small potted plant, so this much distance they have to cover, right? So as they are taking in the water from the soil, they just have to transport it through the very short stem and towards the leaves, right? Just towards the leaves, by the process of simple diffusion, which is very much easy for them, right? And since the distance between the roots and the leaves are very small, that is why simple diffusion only will just help to transport all the plants and transport all the water and minerals. Clear hai na? So what is diffusion? When the movement of ions takes place, whether it is a solid molecule or liquid molecule or gaseous molecule, it takes place when the molecules move from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, right? So this is known as the diffusion. And by the simple diffusion, what happened? The movement of the different ions or movement of the different molecules takes place within the plants only. Fine. This is in case of the small plants. Now, how the water is transported in small plants? Now, the next question is, water molecules, when they are moving from the higher concentration to lower concentration, they need some different things. So, the movement of the water molecule will be same like that of the diffusion. Okay, from the region of higher concentration to the region of the lower concentration only. But one specialized thing is needed, that is the presence of semi-permeable membrane. So where is this semi-permeable membrane present in the plants? Definitely they have the cell wall. Each and every cells which are making up the tissues of the plants, definitely they are having the cell membranes, right? As we already know that in case of the plant cell, they have the outermost covering, that is the cell wall. Just beneath it is the cell membrane. So that cell wall is fully permeable, means it allows every molecules to pass through it, and the cell membrane is semi permeable, means, or we can say selectively permeable, because it allows only specific substances to pass through it, right? So when this condition of this semi permeable membrane is coming in case of diffusion, we call it the process, we have given the process another name, that is a specialized type of diffusion only, which is known as osmosis, right? So in case of osmosis, what happened? This is the process by which the movement of the water molecule, always remember, in case of diffusion, what is the main difference between diffusion and osmosis? In case of diffusion, the solid, liquid, gas, everything, all the molecules can move from region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. But in case of osmosis, only the solvents, okay, or we can say only the liquids, and basically the universal solvent is water, we know that, right? So we will consider water in this case only. So this movement of water takes place from the region of the higher concentration to the region of the lower concentration, and through the semi permeable membrane. Never forget to write or mention this semi permeable membrane in case of the definition of osmosis. So this is the full definition of osmosis. Up to this much clear hai na, how the root cells take the water from the soil and the minerals from the soil, and how this water and minerals are going, right? So definitely within the root cell the minerals will be more, right? But outside the root cell, that is in the soil, water will be more. So where is the water more? The water is more in the soil and less in the root. So definitely when it is more in the soil, it will go towards the less region, lower concentration region. So where it is more, that region is known as higher concentration region, and where it is less, that is known as the lower concentration region, right? So as the water molecule is more in the soil, definitely it will move from the soil towards the roots, right, and the cells of the roots, and definitely it will carry the water molecules towards the leaves of the plant. Clear hai? And this is done due to the osmosis process, by the process of osmosis. And this happened through the water column also. So there is the tube like structure, the capillary like structure, which are there from the root towards the leaves, to that makes the whole water column. So osmosis also takes place throughout the whole water column. Hence the water is transported from the roots towards the leaves. Up to this much clear, Hannah, I guess? Yes. If you have again any doubt, please write it down in the chat box. Now, let us now find out how this absorption of water takes place by root in the tall trees or tall plants. So we have already seen that how it happens in the short plants, right? Like herbs or shrubs. Now, if it is a coconut tree or a mango tree or any banyan tree maybe, right? So the water which will be absorbed by the root cannot reach the leaf just by simple diffusion. They should need some different type of tissue, the different type of like specialized types of tissue, which will make the pipe like thing, a capillary like thing, which will help them to move from lower region to the upper region, or from the ground towards the leaves, right? So what are these tissues known as? Now we will come to know about the names of the tissues. So basically this tissue system is known as the vascular system. Okay, vascular means, always remember that vascular system is present in our body also, which is related to blood vessels, right? And in case of plants, definitely the plants do not have the blood, right? So the vascular tissue in plants means where the conduction takes place. So our blood also helps in the conduction, means transportation system. Plants also have the different transportation system. So whatever they allow or they help in the transportation from the root to the leaves, definitely those tissues, specialized system or the specialized tissues are known as the vascular tissue. Okay, and this vascular tissues actually consist of the two main types of tissues. One is the xylem and another one is the phloem. Okay, the xylem and phloem are the main conducting tissue or vascular tissue within the plants, which help them to carry the water and minerals from the root to the leaves, and phloem will help to carry the food from the leaves to all the different parts of the plant. Clear and up to this much? Yes. Okay. So you have, I guess I have already said that vascular bundle, vascular tissue. I guess you have already have an idea what is the vascular tissue, which help in the conduction of the water minerals and the food. So they consist of the two main types of tissues. One is the xylem and another one is the phloem. Now this xylem and phloem definitely will be considered, or it will be grouped into four different types. Okay, so we will find out what is the main function of xylem, what is the main function of phloem, and what are the main different types of xylem and phloem. Clear, Anna? Yes, Avika. Yes, Nehalata. Sailendra, I guess up to this much is totally clear. Yes. Okay. Chalo. Now let us study more about the xylem and phloem. So the conduction of the water via the xylem tissue, definitely the xylem tissue is present from the root to the leaves, which actually carry the water and minerals. Okay, always remember the water and minerals are carried by the xylem tissue. See, over here it is just carrying the water and minerals from downward from the roots towards the leaves. So only this transportation will be unidirectional, it is just going up. Okay, it is going in one way only. Okay, so one way path of the water and the minerals. So there is no end walls between the cells, and all the cells together form a pipe like thing. Okay, अच्छा टेस्ट मैं लेती हूँ. Yes, Nehalata, I'll take test. Okay, so yes, Nehalata, let me see who can give me the names of the different xylem tissues. Okay, so let me see who can give me the names of the different xylem tissues quickly in the chat box. Okay, great. So definitely the xylem tissue will help the water and minerals to go from downward to upward. Right, so the xylem transport the soluble minerals and the water molecules from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant. Now, what do you mean by aerial parts of the plant? The different parts of the plant which are in direct contact with the air. Okay, like you can see the leaves are having a direct contact with the air, and definitely the gaseous exchange also takes place within the leaves only, like by opening and closing of the stomata, which are mainly present within the leaves. The gaseous exchange takes place by that. Sometimes the cuticles, lenticels, whatever is present in the leaves and shoots, they are all the various aerial parts of the plant. So the roots, they just absorb the minerals and water from the soil, and they just transport it to all the aerial parts of the plant. Up to this much clear hai? And the movement of this water in xylem is unidirectional, means it is just moving in one way. The movement is only one way, from the root to upward towards the leaves. So when you will grow up, you will come to know another word. This unidirectional movement of the xylem is also known as ascent of sap. What do you mean by sap over here? Sap means the water along with the minerals. ठीक है, तो as they are absorbed by the root, they are just going upward from the roots to the leaves, right? They're just moving upward from the roots to the leaves, and this upward movement is known as ascent of sap. Clear hai na? Against the gravity. Okay, so this is known as the ascent of sap. I guess you have already got an idea. I have told you to write down the names of the xylem tissue. Let me see who can give me the various types of xylem tissues name. Yes, there are four different types of xylem tissue. What are they? First one is the xylem vessel. Second one is the trachea. Third one is the xylem fiber. And fourth one is the xylem parenchyma. So these are the four main parts of the xylem. Okay, so we will study about the structure because the diagram is very important. Okay, and we will also study about their individual functions. Clear hai na? Now, first thing about the xylem I would like to say is always remember all the different parts of the xylem are composed of the dead cells. Okay, all the xylems are the dead cells. They are all made up of the dead cells. The xylem vessel, trachea and xylem fiber. The only exception is the xylem parenchyma. These cells are only the living cells among all the other xylem cells. Clear, Anna? Yes. So the xylem vessels and trachea are mostly the elongated structure. See, these are the vessels. See, these are the xylem vessels. They are making a pipe-like thing. Can you see the picture? Yes, it is making a pipe-like thing through which the water will be conducted. It will go from the root towards the leaves as well as the tracheids. Can you see the pitted walls are there? Yeah, through which the water can go from here and there. And definitely they are also making a pipe-like thing, a straw-like thing. Like when you will suck the straw, by putting it into a cold drink bottle, definitely the water will move into your mouth, right? The cold drink, I'm very sorry, so the Pepsi or Coca-Cola will go inside your mouth, right? Similar type of thing happen in case of the xylem tissue also. This is a straw like thing. Whenever there will be a suction pressure from upward, that is transpiration pool, you will study later on. Okay, I'll definitely explain what is transpiration pool in the next session. So it will just create a suction and the water and mineral will move on from the root towards the upward, okay, towards the leaves. Very good. Now can you tell me, anyone, what are the different tissues of phloem? What are the various parts of phloem? Let me see who can give the correct answer in the chat box. Okay, so yeah, this is the xylem tissue and the xylem vessels and trachea. They actually are the elongated structure which help make a continuous water column so that the water and minerals will move upward from the roots to the leaves. Clear hai? Now, these are the basic structures as well as the main function of the xylem tissue. So, first let us find out what is the vessel. Okay, the xylem vessels are the tube-like structure, as I have already shown you, having the two ends open. Right now, what is the main function of this vessel? They give a proper mechanical support to the plant as well as conduct the water upward from the root to the leaves. Clear hai? Second is the trachea. They are dead. Definitely vessels were also dead. These are also dead. The tube-like structures having the tapering ends. Okay. So what do you mean by tapering ends? If this is the vessel, so they are having a tapering end like this. Okay. Tapering means it is becoming thin at one end. है ना? Okay. Now their function is also to provide a mechanical strength or mechanical support to the plant as well as conduction of the water upward. Right. Now coming to the fibers, the xylem fibers. This yes, this is also having another name. They are also known as the xylem sclerenchyma. You have already studied about parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma tissues in the previous in class 7th, remember? Yes. So this is the sclerenchyma, xylem sclerenchyma, or we also call it as the xylem fiber, which are long, narrow cells and tapering end. Again, they have the fiber-like structure having the tapering end. Okay. So they also help to give a proper support, a strength and support to the plant as well as, yes, basically they give the support to the plant. Okay, conduction takes place by the vessels and trachea, and fibers generally give the support to the plant. Now coming to the parenchyma. So xylem parenchyma is only the living cell. They are only made up of the living cells in case of all the other varieties of xylem, right? And this xylem parenchyma, it has another name. Let me tell you, another name of this tissue is wood parenchyma. Okay, so this parenchyma help to store the food and conduct the water and mineral source, right? So this storing of food takes place in the parenchyma cells. As you have already got an idea, you have already studied it in the previous chapter, that parenchyma helps in storage of food. So same thing happen in case of the xylem and phloem. So xylem parenchyma also store the food. Phloem parenchyma also store the food. right? So what are the different parts of phloem? Please write it down in the chat box. Yeah. Okay, so we have already studied about the different parts of the xylem. So let us find out what are the pictures. So this is the picture of the trachea. Okay, this one is the vessel, the xylem vessels. Okay, this one is the xylem parenchyma, which store the food, and the fourth one is the xylem fiber, which gives a proper mechanical support to the plant. Clear hai? So how to remember all these four names? By a very simple way, that is the vibrant flag picture. Okay, the vibrant flag picture. So the matlab T से शुरू होता है, that means trachea. Vibrant V से शुरू होता है, that means vessels. Flag F से शुरू होता है, that means fiber, xylem fiber. And picture means P से शुरू होता है, that means xylem parenchyma. Okay, so trachea, vessel, fiber, and parenchyma. These are the four main types of xylem. Okay, up to this much clear, I guess. Chalo. Now let us find out by doing one experiment which you can do at home also. But one thing you need is you should have a microscope so that you will be able to see the xylem parenchyma. Okay, the xylem, sorry, the xylem vessel. And this will be very good if you can conduct this experiment in school biological lab. Okay, the biology laboratory of your school with the help of your teacher, right? So what you have to take is just take a soft twig of flowering plant, and you have to take a beaker full of water, and you have to take some red ink. Okay, now take the beaker having some water and put the soft twig, the flowering plant, the twig of anything. Okay, now having the root system also a little bit over there so that the root will be able to absorb the water, right? Now put some few drops of red ink. Okay, red is like it will be very bright in color so that it will help you to see the xylem tissue very clearly. So that is why red color ink you can use over here. Now keep it under the sun for like half an hour to 1 hour. Okay, now after half an hour, what you have to see, just cut a slice of the stem. Okay, a very thin slice of the stem, very important. Okay, so that the light can pass through it. Whatever however it will be more thin, you will be able to see the xylem more clearly. Okay, so take it in a slide and cover it with a cover slip and just see it under the microscope. So how, what will you see? You will see some distinct colors over there inside the stem. So you can see over here you have used the red color ink, remember? So you will see that the red color, which is actually the xylem. Okay, so the xylem is the dead tissue, but it carries the water from the roots to the leaves, and that is how, by observing this, you will be able to understand that xylem is the only tissue which actually carry the water and minerals from the root to the leaves. Clear, Hannah, up to this much? Yes. Okay. Now, side by side, you can get the other different tissues. You can see the cambium, you can see the phloem, you can see the other different parts of the stems also. Fine. Now, we have already studied about the xylem. So, I have already asked you what are the different parts of the phloem. So, I have not got the answer in the chat box till now. Okay, let me tell you the answer. So, there are four different parts of the phloems also. Okay, so the phloem tissue's main function is to conduct the food. Okay, so as you already know that the food is made by the process of photosynthesis in the leaves. So from the leaves to the different parts of the plant, the food should be distributed, right? And who will distribute this food? Phloem. है ना? So the phloem is the food conducting tissues in the plant. So xylem was the water conducting tissue and phloem is the food conducting tissue. Very important. Okay, so it is a part of the vascular bundle. Definitely vascular bundle consists of the xylem and phloem, so definitely the phloem will also come under the vascular bundle along with the xylem, and it will also extend to all the different lanes of the plant body. Now, one very important difference of xylem and phloem is there. What is that? Xylem. In case of the xylem, we have seen that the water and minerals are going from the root to the leaves in one direction only, right? But in case of the phloem tissue, what happens? It is going from the leaves to all the different parts of the plant in all the direction, bidirectional we can say, or two-way flow of the water here and there, from here there, upward, downward, side by side, everywhere the food is going, so that the plants may remain healthy, right? So the cells have the wall with their perforations. You can see over here some of the perforations, right? So these are the sieve plates which are present in the sieve tube. So if you think about, this is the phloem tissue, this is the sieve tube, and just beside is the companion cell. So the sieve tube help the conduction of the food. So this conduction of the food also have another name. Do you know what is that? It is known as translocation. Okay, this process is also known as translocation of food. That is, the food which is already made in the leaves, they will go from the leaves to all the different parts of the plant. Now, three things you have to remember, right? Let me tell you one very important thing, that whenever the food is made by the process of photosynthesis, they are made in the form of glucose, right? That is, we already know that C6H12O6 is the formula of glucose. Now, when they will be transported or translocated, or we can say when it will be distributed to all the different parts of the plant body, basically most common cases, they are transmitted or translocated in the form of sucrose. Fine. And when they will reach to the destination, all the different parts of the body, plant body, they will remain stored in the form of starch. So this glucose, sucrose, starch, these are nothing but the different forms of carbohydrate. Okay, so you will come to know about carbohydrate. You already have studied about carbohydrate, protein, fats, vitamins and minerals. So the carbohydrates, this in case of carbohydrate, the simplest form is the glucose, which is formed during the process of photosynthesis. Then they are moved to all the different parts of the body, plant body, in the form of sucrose. Okay, this is the disaccharide. Two molecules of glucose will make the sucrose, and then the sucrose will go to all the different parts of the body, and it will be stored, in the form of starch. Clear, Anna? Up to this much, I guess it's totally clear. Yes, please remember, these are the main things which happen in the plant. So let us see what are the differences between the xylem and phloem. So as you already have an idea, like xylem, in case of the xylem, the water and minerals are going from the root to the leaves only in one direction. But in case of phloem, what is happening? It is a two-way flow. It is going up, and some molecules are also going down. Some are going right side, some are going left side. So this is the bi-directional flow, we can say, right? Now the food materials move through the phloem definitely will be bidirectional, and it will move here and there in all the direction, and this phloem are basically located in the bark of the trees. Okay, and bark of the trees, and transport the sucrose, as I have already said, that when it is transported from one part to another, they are transported in the form of sucrose and the other organic compounds to the rest of the different plants from the leaves. Yes? Okay. So these are now the different components of phloem tissue. So what are the different components of phloem tissue? One is the sieve tube. Second one is the companion cell. Third one is the phloem fiber. Fourth one is the phloem parenchyma. Again, I would like to tell you to remember that sieve tube is living cell. Okay. Companion cells are also living. Parenchyma are also living. Only phloem fibers are the dead cells. Okay, so over here, like the xylem, in case of xylem, all the xylem tissues were dead, only xylem parenchyma was living. Over here in phloem, all the phloem tissues are leaving, only the phloem fiber is dead. I guess this is totally clear. You will be able to remember this, right? So the sieve tubes are the cylindrical cells which do not have any nucleus within them, and they are also arranged in the vertical row like this. Okay, from one end to another, right? So this help in the transportation of the food from the leaves to all the parts of the plant. Similarly, the companion cells, they are elongated and like this, which are always present side by side to the sieve tube. Companion है ना, friend है, तो उसके side by side रहता है. Right. So companion cells are always side by side to sieve tubes, and they help to transport the food from the leaves to all the different parts of the plant. Third is the fiber, the phloem fiber. Okay, the phloem fiber helps to give a proper mechanical strength and support to the plant. जैसे fiber का main function होता है strength देना, right? Yes, very good. Light reaction takes place in the chloroplast, right? Okay. And parenchyma, the phloem tissue helps, sorry, the phloem parenchyma helps in the storage of the food. As I have already said that the parenchyma definitely help in the storage of the food, in case of xylem also, in case of phloem also, and help to conduct the water and mineral salts. So these are all about the various components of phloem and their functions. Up to this much clear, Anna? Yes, any question? Okay, so let us find out what are the four components of phloem. First one is the sieve tube. Can you see the sieves? Sieves matlab channi, right? So when you just filtrate the tea, you just separate the tea from the tea leaves every day. So channi lagta hai na. So same thing happen in case of the plant also. They do not allow everyone to pass through it. It acts as a sieve. It acts as a channi, so that all the different unwanted materials will also not go from here and there. They will just take the needed thing, the important thing to pass through it, and the others will be separated from it, right? This is the sieve tube. This one is the phloem fiber, which gives a mechanical support to the phloem. This one is the sieve tube along with the companion cell. As I have already said that the companion matlab friend. तो sieve tube का friend कौन है? Companion cell है. Always side by side रहता है, right? So this companion cell is this one, and another tissue, that is the phloem parenchyma, always help in storage of food, right? So these are the four main elements or the four main components of the phloem. Right now, let us summarize what are the differences between the xylem and phloem. Let me see who can give me more differences in chat box. Okay, so please write down some of the differences on your own in the chat box, and let us discuss more about it. Like, definitely from the picture you can see that water and minerals are moving in one direction in case of xylem, and food is moving in two direction in case of phloem. There is no end wall in case of xylem, but there are perforations having the end wall with the perforations in case of the phloem. Any other example? No? Okay, let me see who can give me more differences. In the meantime, let us see one video, right?
We could just say movement of water and minerals and movement of glucose and amino acids, but this is science, and so we like to have special terms to describe these processes. In this three-part video, we are going to look at the transport systems in plants for moving food, water and minerals around. We have a beating heart and circulating blood, but what do plants do? Cut a plant open and it doesn't bleed, so what happens instead? Plants have their own systems. They have a xylem, which moves water and solutes from the roots to the leaves, and a phloem, which moves glucose made in the leaves by photosynthesis and amino acids to the rest of the plant. Here are the xylem, and here are the phloem. Notice how the arrangement is different in the stem and the roots. The xylem and the phloem are found in groups called vascular bundles, and the position of these bundles changes for different parts of the plant. Both the xylem and the phloem are made up of rows of cells that form a continuous tube running the whole length of the plant. The xylem vessels are made of elongated dead cells that are impermeable to water and have walls containing lignin, a woody material. Because of this, xylem vessels are tough, which is why the vascular bundles in the roots are in the center. They help prevent the plant being pulled out of the ground. They are also more protected in the center. Whereas the stem has to resist being squashed and bent, and so it has the vascular bundles nearer to the edge to give the stem strength and support. The phloem vessels are made up of living cells. They transport sucrose and amino acids up and down the plant, depending upon where they are needed. Whereas in the xylem, the movement is just one way, from the roots up to the leaves. So we know that water and minerals go up the xylem, and amino acids and glucose go up and down the phloem. But how? In the second part of this video, we are going to look at the xylem and transpiration.
Okay, so you have already got an idea about the xylem and phloem, right? Yes? Okay, so let us find out what are the differences between the xylem and phloem. So first of all, xylem transport water and mineral from root to aerial parts of the plant or leaves, right? Phloem transport the food materials from leaves to other different parts of the plant. Fine. Secondly, what are the main components of xylem? Vessels, xylem vessels, the tracheids, the xylem parenchyma, and the xylem fiber. What are the main components of phloem? Sieve tube, component cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fiber. Right? Now coming to the xylem. What type of tissues are they? Definitely xylems are dead tissues. Just exception is the xylem parenchyma. Okay. And in case of the phloem, phloems are all living tissues except the phloem fiber, which is only the dead tissue. Right? Next is the xylem conduct the water and minerals in only one direction. So this conduction is unidirectional. Yes. And in case of phloem, the conduction is bidirectional. Clear hai? Now in case of the xylem, the conduction does not require any expenditure of energy. It simply happen in case of by the process of simple diffusion and osmosis, most of the cases. But in case of phloem, it has to go in all the direction. So they require extra energy. The expenditure of energy will help them to conduct the food to all the different parts of the plant. Clear, Anna? So this is all about the transportation in plant and the transportation system, that is the xylem and phloem, which takes place, which help the movement of all the molecules within the plant. So to summarize, let us find out what we have already studied, that the phloem is located in the bark of the trees and transport the sugar, that is in form of sucrose, and they transport it from the leaves to all the different parts of the plant body, right? And the xylem is located outer wood of the trees and transport mainly the water from the roots to the different parts of the trees. So now let me ask you one question. Let me see who can give me the correct answer. So there are three options. So you have to see the question, right? And find out what will be the answer. What options will be the correct option. So the question is, which of the following are true regarding phloem? Okay. So first of all, it transports water from root to leaves. Is it correct? Secondly, it transports sucrose from leaves to root. Is it correct? Or it is located lateral to the xylem in tree stems. It is correct. So it may happen that two options can be correct at a time. So let me see who can give me the correct answer. Yes, jaldi jaldi bata do. What will be the answer? Yes. Yes, Nehalata, Avika, Trap Zone, what is your name? Please tell me your name, actual name, Sailendra. Let me see who can give me the correct answer first. Yes. So what will be the case in case of the phloem? What actually happened in case of the phloem? So there will be two answers which will be correct. I have given you one hint, right? So what will be the answers? Yes. One is it transfers the sucrose from leaves to the roots. So not only the roots, it gives the sucrose from leaves to all the other different parts of the plant. And secondly, it is located lateral to the xylem in the tree stem. I have already shown you the picture how they are present laterally one after another in the xylem and in case of the phloem. Right? So that's it for today. Let me give you one interesting fact that some plants have evolved to withstand the dry climate in case of the desert region, right? And these can survive with a very little amount of water, and these plants are known as xerophytes. For example, you can say like cactus. Yeah. And do you know another thing, that bamboo is the fastest growing woody plant in the world? It can grow in each day, it can grow about 35 inches. Can you imagine? Yeah. So these are the interesting fact. You can note it down in your copy. So this is all for today's session. We have learned a lot about the plant tissues. We have studied about the conducting or the transportation tissues, transportation in plants and plant parts, the different parts which are involved in transportation like xylem and phloem. We have studied about the various parts or types of xylem and phloem, and also the functions of xylem and phloem. We have also studied one experiment where we proved that xylem conduct the water only, right? And finally we have studied about the differences between xylem and phloem. I guess everything is clear to you. Any question, you can write it in the chat box. Okay, so thank you for being with me, and thank you for being with Swiflearn also. So we will again meet in the next session of this chapter, right? So I think everything is clear in your mind. So please subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now. Subscribe it and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions. So after the upcoming sessions also, you will get a lot of different types of information about the different subjects, right? So stay with Swiflearn and like, comment and share with your friends and family members. We will again meet in the next session, right? Okay, bye bye for today. Stay safe and stay healthy.